like I've said to you guys numerous times, and I'm going to keep saying it, I'm going to keep hammering this thought in your head because you need to understand we have been lied to for the majority of our lives. If you are a Gen Xer or a millennial, specifically born between the years of 1970 to 1990, you represent a group of people that have been lied to on a consistent basis through television, through cartoons, through stories that were told. Everything that we consumed or watched had this theme of good versus evil, heroes versus villains, right? Unfortunately, I believe we were taught that in order to pacify us and make us complacent, to believe that a hero is going to save us or a hero is going to fix all of the problems of the world, when it's really not going to happen like that. No one is coming to the rescue. This is what I believe, right? The prime example of this is this debacle, this foolishness, this parade that we're watching with this Diddy case. Now, I'm going to point out something that I'm noticing about the announcements of all of this, right? So what we're going to do is I'm going to play this news conference of this lawyer that is alleging that he has 120 new victims that claim they are going to speak out, and the implications of this and how this is going to connect people in positions of power and people that you would have never thought, and all of this, right? So I want you guys to pay real close attention to this. I want you to listen to what's being said. And then I'm going to break down for you why I believe it's a bunch of bunk. I believe it's a bunch of crap, right? So let's play it.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tony Busby. I'm a lawyer here in Houston. I'm licensed in Texas and in New York. And I'll introduce other members of our team as they speak. As many of you know, our law firm has been at the forefront of some of the most important litigation in the United States. We like the tough cases. We thrive in the complicated cases. We've handled over the last 25 years some very big and very important cases. I believe that this one may surpass them all. There are many facets to this. The conduct we will describe today occurred over more than 20 years. There are many people and many entities involved. And we're going to follow this evidence wherever it takes us. We will find the silent accomplices. We will expose the enablers who enabled this conduct behind closed doors. We will pursue this matter no matter who the evidence implicates. These brave victims who have stepped forward deserve nothing less. The biggest secret in the entertainment industry that really wasn't a secret at all has finally been revealed to the world. The wall of silence has now been broken, and victims are coming forward. Our team has had at this point more than 3,285 individuals contact us with people claiming to have been victimized by Sean Combs. After vetting, we now represent 120 individuals who intend to bring civil claims in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs, as well as claims against many other individuals and entities that we will name as defendants as we file these individual cases. And you should know, to the extent the clients feel comfortable, we also intend to make these individuals available to the authorities, specifically to the FBI. And you should also know a few of them have already been spoken to by the FBI. Now, before we discuss the nature of the claims and claimants themselves, let me comment on the large volume of calls we have received since our first announcement. Even before the indictment of Sean Combs, we had received a small volume of calls and had screened a handful of cases. After the indictment of Sean Combs and the announcement that we were pursuing these claims, the floodgates opened. People who wouldn't otherwise, for a variety of reasons, are now stepping forward to make their voices heard and to pursue justice. But no, most of these people are scared. They fear backlash in their communities. They fear backlash in their own families. They are afraid of retaliation from the perpetrators and their associates. They are rightly afraid for their own personal safety. I expect that through this process, many powerful people will be exposed. Many dirty secrets will be revealed. We know what we are potentially up against. And as is always the case in situations like this, when a celebrity is involved, people can be downright mean and nasty. You would be shocked at the length fans will go, no matter the evidence to the contrary, to defend celebrities they love. I mean, there's a reason for this word fans. They're fanatics. I've personally already been threatened multiple times on social media. And when I agreed to pursue this, I expected as much. This isn't my first rodeo. But victims who step forward to have their voices heard should not be subjected to that kind of conduct. They should not be targeted. I want to say this, and I want to be clear about it. Although we are vetting each call as stringently as we can, I always start with a mindset that I believe victims. I believe victims because I understand the tremendous courage it takes to step forward. So if you're watching this, please hear me. If you're out there and you have been victimized, you are not alone. There is a great strength in numbers.
You are not
You can seek
alone.
redress. You can obtain
I
justice.
am here with you.
We can help you, and we will help you.
Though you're far.
That being said, as stated, we are vetting every call that we receive. We have had to turn away some. For each, we ask for corroboration. For each, we ask for the identity of witnesses. We also have collected pictures, videos, texts. We check venues, we check dates. We want to corroborate that the claims being made have legitimacy and merit. We have on staff now a former detective from the Major Offenders Unit of Houston Police Department who is helping us vet each claim. We're using our common sense. We're being stringent because, as I said, these are not easy cases. They're very tough. The process is hard, and in some cases, the process is very lengthy. These cases are hard to prove. Many times it's the victim's word against the alleged perpetrator. Each of these victims will no doubt be publicly attacked by the alleged perpetrators, and in some cases, the general public. The feckless and cowardly keyboard warriors love to attack. We know what we're up against. We did not enter this fray blindly. I wish it was my last such fray. I wish this type of behavior wasn't so pervasive. But it is what it is, so we will press on. As I said, our law firms have been retained by 120 individuals at this point to pursue cases in civil court against Sean Diddy Combs. You should know, in this group, it is evenly divided between males and females. There are 60 males and 60 females who have joined us to pursue these claims as plaintiffs. In this group, 62% identify as African American, 30% are white, and the remainder are Hispanic or Asian. The victims are from more than 25 states. The majority are from California, New York, Georgia, and Florida. I don't want to focus on the ages of these victims. When we talk about the ages of the victims when the conduct occurred, it's shocking. Our youngest victim at the time of the occurrence was 9 years old. We have an individual who was 14 years old. We have one who was 15. 25 of the 120 individuals who are plaintiffs in these cases were minors at the time of the acts complained of. The time frame of the acts complained of is very wide. The conduct at issue spans from the years 1991 all the way till this year, 2024. If you wonder why there are so many alleged victims, that's your answer. We're talking about more than 25 years of this type of conduct. Now, although most of the victims who have stepped forward were victimized after 2015, this has been going on for a very long time. Now, when you think about the fact that some of this conduct occurred 25 years ago, and you wonder why would it take somebody so long to step forward, I want to remind you that many states in the United States have recognized that it's very difficult for a victim to step forward and to make these types of allegations when something very terrible has happened to them. I'll use New York, the state of New York, as an example. The state of New York has specific statutes in place that revive claims that are even claims that would typically be not able to be brought, that revive such claims, and they can be brought even 25 to 30 years later. Because there's a recognition there in New York and California and other states that it's very difficult for a victim to come forward. And I would respectfully suggest the only reason many of these people are coming forward because they see other victims coming forward. And it gives them some comfort that, hey, I won't be the only one. And I expect more victims will come forward. You know, there's an old saying that says, a lie has great speed, but truth has endurance. The acts complained of in these cases that we're going to file occurred primarily in New York, either Manhattan or the Hamptons, or occurred in California, primarily in Los Angeles, or in Florida, primarily in Miami. Most of these events and incidents occurred at parties, typically after parties, or album release parties, New Year's Eve parties, 4th of July parties, something they call the puppy party, the all-white party, although several of these events occurred at auditions. Many times, especially young people wanting to break into the industry, were coerced into this type of conduct in the promise of being made a star, or in the promise of having Sean Combs listen to their tape or even let them read for Sean Combs. You should know that some of this behavior occurred at well-known venues in New York City. Some of this behavior occurred at private residences of people that we all know. Some of this behavior occurred at hotels that we're all familiar with. You should know that more than 55% of the victims filed reported this conduct to either the authorities, that is the police, or to hospitals. We're in the process of collecting with our team assistants medical records, reports that were made to the authorities, and I've already said that some of the individuals in this group did in fact talk to the FBI. You should know that several of the individuals, and when I say several, I mean many, who did in fact seek medical treatment were drug tested, and drugs were found in their system, weird drugs that you probably never heard of. One in particular that continues to pop up is a drug called xylazine, or trank, which based on our research is known as a horse tranquilizer. Now, there's been a lot of reports that we're filing a class action. This is not a class action. Class action is when one or two people file a case on behalf of a group of people. That's not this. These cases will be individual cases. Each case will live and die on its own merit. These cases will be filed individually, one plaintiff against whoever the defendants were involved in the case. Each case may be filed in one venue like California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing, that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today.
And there it is right there. There it is right there. Let me rewind it back so you guys can hear it.
Thinking or hoping, or perhaps California, another case may be filed in New York. One case may sue just Sean Combs, but multiple other people. One case may sue a range of people. I would expect most, though, to be filed, as I said, in New York and Los Angeles. Now, I know this. Many of you came here thinking or hoping, or perhaps believing, that I may start naming names. Well, that day will come, but it won't be today.
Many of you came here hoping, thinking that I'm going to name names. That day will come, but not today. Why not? Why not? Why not? Shout out to Cooley. He said, victims of all races and ages. He's a sinister villain, but at least he's all about diversity. Shout out to Andre. He said, remember, it's the end of the world as we know it. Shout out to Sliding Edge. Anyone from 112 spoken up? Remember Peaches and Cream? Ooh. That out of this entire press conference, that was the one thing that stood out to me. That was the one thing that caught my attention. Many of you came here today thinking that I was going to name names. That day will come, but not today, right? Then I came across this. I didn't watch this whole interview, but Dialogue has an interview with the guy who authored Kim Porter's tell-all book, right? Shout out to AH. He said they aren't releasing names yet because they want to see who will pay for privacy and who wants to be named and shamed. I'm going to need y'all to stop getting ahead of me in the show. I came across this. Now, this is the guy that put out the book, right? Now, what he said was, when they asked him, how can you confirm that what's in the book is real? He said, because there's video evidence of it. And I told you guys, you got all of these people running around. They're calling this guy a con artist. His name is Chris Todd. They're saying he's a scammer. All of this BS, right? My question is, why hasn't somebody sued him yet? Why hasn't somebody sued him yet? But more importantly, let me go look real quick. Let me go look at these orders. Where is it at? Let's see. Uh-oh, they took it down. Amazon took the book down. But this guy hasn't been sued yet. Why hasn't he been sued yet? That's what I want to know. Because before it's like, oh, the person can't be sued because they're using an alias. There's an alias on the book, but this guy is the guy that put the book out. So why hasn't he been sued yet? They successfully took it off of Amazon. I knew that would happen sooner or later. Right? Because it's implicating some powerful people. Why hasn't this guy been sued yet? So let's hear what he had to say.
Some people are going to believe.
Well, they want to see.
So no. Some people, listen. Some people are going to believe what they want to believe, no matter what.
Right.
Right. But other people say, hey, you know what? I'm going to reserve judgment until I see what happens.
Sure.
It's kind of like going to court. Right now, they could say, well, hey, I found, X amount of drugs on this guy, whatever. Well, you're going to say, hey, they didn't find nothing on me.
Right.
It's your word against their word. And then that's why you have that meeting in the middle and you have something called discovery. What we're trying to do right now is discover what Chris Todd has in regards to the accusations that he alleged that Kim Porter made to back that up.
Yeah.
The alleged memoir suggests that Kim Porter feared Diddy might groom her son Quincy. How did you gather or verify such sensitive information?
When I read that, I really kind of like in one ear out the other, because to me it's kind of disturbing. So I don't know what she's trying to say there. I don't know what that is.
And the reason why I asked this question is because
same with the Albie Shore thing. When I read that at first, I was like in one ear out the other.
Right.
I'm like, I don't know what this is all about. Like,
so my question, if it was in one ear out the other, why even put it in?
Maybe I could have pulled that. I could have, but maybe I will. Maybe.
And the reason why I say that is because when you go back to the beginning of their relationship,
when he's a baby,
Sean P. Diddy Combs actually adopted Quincy.
Correct. Yeah.
And so we've heard nothing in reference to anything like that. Quincy's a grown man now.
Yeah, I've never said that.
Yeah, no, he's a grown man now. And so you can understand the hurt.
Sure.
And the disappointment.
Absolutely.
That the family would feel and why they came out and spoke and said what they said in regards to knowing their mom.
So is this dude in dialogue? Is he the lawyer for Diddy? Is he Diddy's lawyer? Like, listen to the conviction in his voice. It's like he's prosecuting the case right here on this interview. Whatever happened to reporters and journalists being non-biased? You feel me? Like, whatever happened to that? Yeah, he sounds mad. Like, he sounds angry.
I don't know what they mean by grooming either. The word grooming can have different meanings.
So this is what the book...
I understand.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is when she uses the word grooming, okay, I don't know if that's trying to imply something bad like that, what we're thinking about, or grooming him to be like him. Like, I don't, there's a little confusion there about what that means. So I just kind of, I mean, someday I could take it out, just like I could take out Albie's thing. But like I said,
So basically what he's saying is, I guess someone sold him the files of her diary or her memoirs that were never finished, and he put them in a book format and put the book out. Some people are saying that he made it up, it's lies. He's saying that no, these are the notes from Kim's diary or whatever, right?
I X'd out the things that I really felt should be X'd out. That's what I X'd out. As for just one grooming comment, I just kind of, maybe I will take it out. But I didn't look at it as like she's accusing Diddy of trying to do something with Quincy. I didn't look at it that way.
How do you respond to the critics who claim that the alleged memoir's sensational claims about sexual encounters are fabricated to attract attention?
In the book in general, like, I mean, it's obvious someone could think that for sure. And if Kim had some liberties with some of that, she's not the first writer to do it. She has every right to do it. And that's part of her art or her way of shaming him. That's up to her. That's her right. It's like everybody else in Hollywood does it. Everybody does it in books. That's how they sell books. It's how they sell movies and TV shows. Same thing. It's NC-17. Man, you shouldn't see this movie, man. Ooh, there's no rating. Guess what everyone does? Runs and goes and sees the movie. They do this in horror movies all the time. So I would stick up for Kim as an artist, as a writer, telling her story, whether, like I said, every single thing of it is literal. We can't ask her that.
The reason why I asked that question is because the nature of celebrities, you look in following, you look at names, you look at popularity, and you look at in trying to move a product. That's why they're in, people have endorsement deals with certain celebrities and things like that. that's the reason why I asked the question. And you know, your response is she's basically, that's in her way of trying to shame Diddy.
And
from your interpretation.
And the other celebrities.
And from your interpretation. Why do you believe that she would want to do that?
If she's angry, if she was abused, if she's fighting back, because we know through, and I'm going to reveal some of these other things that are on the drive that discuss why she was doing it and when. Okay.
So you didn't. These are other things that you didn't include in.
Correct.
And why did you keep that out?
Correct. Because I can't reveal everything at once. It's too shocking. If I was to release those tapes, the world would shut down. Okay. If I showed one of these tapes,
so
I'm telling you right now, the whole music industry and Hollywood, it would just grind down like this. They're all going to start pointing at each other like this, and it's going to be bad. We've already set it up. We have multiple attorneys. We know how to do it. It's not my first rodeo. I solved the greatest murder case in history, 3 of them. I know how to do it. We're going to do it, but just going to come in pieces. And there's also ways we can, let's say, not censor it, but we can kind of soften it, right? Like the whole tape doesn't have to come out. All the tape. I don't have all the tapes. There's other people that have the tapes. I can't control them. We already know they're shopping in Hollywood. We have proof of other people telling us. We actually didn't have that one they showed. So there's multiple out there. Remember, this has been going on for 30 years. So I'm not the only one who has them. I think I have specific ones that no one has. But so yeah, it's gonna be extremely shocking. We've got to be really just kind of one step at a time.
But you can confirm nor deny that what you claim to have, that no one else has, correct?
I would say this. Let's say there's 10 tapes, right?
So this is hypothetical.
Yeah. Hypothetically, there's 10 tapes. There's a couple of those that no one has, but the flash drive has. I can pretty much guarantee.
And how can you?
Because if anybody has those, they're going to go to jail. If they release what I believe they think they have or they want to release, they will most likely go to jail. That's why we're working with the federal government. We're working with the federal government.
Oh, you're currently working with the
Yes.
federal government?
Well, not like what you're saying.
No. I want to be clear. I don't want to make
We're
any.
going to give them to the federal government.
Oh, so you're going to give the tapes to the federal government?
Yeah.
Now, let me say this, because this is what I wanted to express about this, right? And this goes into everything that I've been talking about. Everything I've been talking about us Gen Xers being lied to about the concept of good and evil, or, excuse me, the role good and evil plays in the world that we live in. We know that good exists. We know that evil exists. There are plenty of you out there that would never engage in these type of activities. It's just not in you, right? But we also know there are plenty of people out there that will engage in those activities and worse if they can get away with it, right? But as Gen Xers, we've been lied to. We've been lied to because our concept of good and evil is the hero is going to beat the villain in 30 minutes. Okay? He-Man defeated Skeletor in 30 minutes. You know, at worst, when we were growing up, a movie was what? Hour and change? Maybe 2 hours? The heroes always win. Right? Now, my belief is in the world that we live in, we don't have any heroes. There's just villains. And every time we see someone brought to justice, in my personal opinion, it's just a villain that's getting knocked out of the way by another villain under the guise of justice, under the guise of righteousness. This is proof of it. Because as you just saw in that press conference, you have this lawyer standing up there talking about we got 120 victims that were violated by Sean P. Diddy Combs and other people. Now, some of you thought that I was going to come out here today and name names. We're not going to do that today. We will do it. Why aren't you going to do that today? If these are monsters that you claim they are, the best thing to do is expose them to the damn world. Why would you not do that? I'll tell you why. Because you want to cherry pick. Oh, well, this one right here has a lot of money. Let's pay him. Let's see if he's willing to pay to not be exposed. Well, this one, has a lot of power. We need to take this person out of here because the retribution from them is gonna be rough. That person has some real power. Let's put them over here because we don't want the backlash of that. And it's no different with this joker that's sitting right here talking about we can't expose it all at one time because it's going to be catastrophic. And these are not heroes. These are not heroes. Do you remember in The Winter Soldier? Do you remember when Black Widow wanted to expose that list? You remember? Remember, she wanted to upload that list onto the internet so the whole world would know. That's a hero. They even told her, like, why would you do that? You know your name is on that list. I don't care. That's a hero. That's a hero. What is annoying about this entire thing is they have P. Diddy in custody. They have this evidence, and they're sitting around like, this implicates a lot of people in a lot of powerful places, but, we're not going to say any names because, we're afraid that people With all due respect, we're not children anymore. Okay? We're not children anymore. We're not children. Said Captain America was a hater, no, he was not a hater. Captain America was an actual hero. Captain America was an actual hero. When he saw what they were doing at S.H.I.E.L.D., he disagreed with it. And if you notice, they tried to take him out. You remember him in the elevator. He had to fight his way out of S.H.I.E.L.D. And that is what led to Captain America basically being on the damn run. Because what happened? Captain America figured out that S.H.I.E.L.D. was infiltrated by Hydra. And it's interesting because sometimes art can most certainly imitate life. You know what I think? Personally, this is just my opinion. I think Tupac's death is going to be swept under the rug. I think they're going to lock up Keefe D for it, and then they're just going to close that file. They're just going to sweep it under the rug. They're not going to go in depth to figure out the intricate details of who plotted and planned that shit. In other words, there's not going to be any real justice for Pac. You're just going to have Keefe D standing there in his orange jumpsuit with his cuffs on looking confused as fuck because he knows damn well that he was not the orchestrator of that shit. He was just a party to it. But he's going to be the fall guy. Biggie Smalls' death, however, is a whole nother story. They've sealed those that case. That case is sealed. We may never find out what really happened with Aaliyah. We may never find out what really happened with Nipsey. We may never find out what really happened with Kim Porter. Heavy D. Why Al B. Sure was in a coma. Why Jamie Foxx was stricken with a sickness. What I think is going to happen is P. Diddy's going to go to jail for a long time. And for good measure, they're going to lock up some low-level industry dudes that, you know, they can tie into some criminal behavior in those parties. But I guarantee you the highest profile person in that entire case is going to be P. Diddy. Bet you any amount of money. Shout out to Paul. He said, Millennial, I saw the recording about boomers stick to their voting beliefs and MLK versus Malcolm X and damn near started crying. The fucking lies keep going. Shout out to Lucky Marie in the building. Lucky Marie said Aaliyah and Nipsey are the ones I want to know the most. Let me tell you something, Lucky. There's a few people in the industry that I had a great deal of respect for and love. And I can tell you right now, Nipsey and Aaliyah are at the top of that list. I'm still pissed off about Tupac. I'm still pissed off about Christopher Wallace, Notorious B.I.G. I'm still pissed off about it. Still pissed off about it. I want every last one of them to get justice so that they can rest in peace. The saddest part about it is we may never get to see that justice meted out. It's right there. It's right there. That's what's so crazy about it. Whatever the hell P. Diddy got going on, whatever was in that vault, whatever's in that drive that this dude Chris Todd has that came from Kim Porter, whatever was in those boxes that Homeland Security seized, all of it is right there. I guarantee you there is enough evidence to connect all the damn dots. But the only problem is there's going to be some favorites played. I already know. There's going to be some favorites played. That's why all of the people that's running around right now celebrating, talking about some, yeah, they got the diddler. Yeah. And I'll tell you something else too. Jaguar Wright, if she know like I know, she better start watching her six. because it's one thing for you to jump on these low-level podcasts and spew out what you're saying. Like, everybody knows that not that many people watch the podcast that she frequents, and that's no disrespect to them. I'm just stating the facts of the numbers, right? She just took her ass on Piers Morgan. She just took her ass on Piers Morgan, and she made some allegations about a certain individual, and I'm not going to say his name. I'm not going to say it. But she made some allegations about a certain individual on Piers Morgan where you know way more people are going to see it. And all I got to say is she's playing a dangerous game. She's playing a dangerous game. You know what's even more frightening about it? What's frightening and what's interesting? If we truly did have heroes in this world, do you realize you could extinguish a large portion of evil just by bringing those to justice that's linked to Diddy? Diddy is like the Joker from the DC universe. There is literally nothing he's not connected to. He literally has his tentacles in everything. Literally. We're talking New York, LA, Miami. He's all over the place. And you got these folks running around, and like I said, I hate to be cynical. But I got to point it out. You got these folks running around celebrating. What are you celebrating? What are you celebrating? See, the only way you could celebrate, right, is if the person that brought Diddy to justice was an actual hero and not a villain. See, if it was a villain that set this up, then this is not justice. This is just Diddy being punished because he crossed the wrong person. And while there may be those out there that may feel a sense of justice because they were violated by Diddy, it doesn't mean that what Diddy is engaged in and what he did is going to come to a stop. You feel me? It's like wrestling. You know, somebody got tagged in. Now it's somebody else's turn to engage in this foolishness, right? And don't get it twisted. I hate to be pessimistic like that. I would love to be optimistic. I would love to believe that this crap is going to come to a stop. I would love to believe it. But again, like I said before, I stopped believing in Santa Claus a very long time ago. I stopped believing in the Tooth Fairy. I stopped believing in the Easter Bunny a very long time ago. Mogul Mays said Mayor Adams and Diddy are getting prosecuted by the same U.S. attorney appointed by the Biden administration. There's a connection with all of this spanning that. Of course it is. Of course it is. Of course there's a connection. But here's the thing. And I want you guys to be clear about this. The clever part is not making the connection between the Southern District of New York, making the connection that the U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York is prosecuting both Diddy and Mayor Adams and 2 deputy mayors and a commissioner within the same month. Making that connection is not the clever part. The clever part is asking yourself why they're keeping those separate. The clever question is asking yourself why no one in the mainstream media has connected those two. So you mean to tell me that no reporter a year ago, damn near to the day, Mayor Adams stood up in Manhattan and gave Diddy the key to the damn city and said the bad boy of politics is giving the key to the city to the bad boy of entertainment. A year later, almost to the day, Diddy gets indicted and arrested by the U.S. Attorney of the Southern District of New York. A week later, excuse me, let me rewind. Almost a year to the day, the homes of 2 deputy mayors and a police commissioner get raided by the FBI. 1 week later, Sean P. Diddy Combs gets arrested by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York. Then, 2 weeks later, Mayor Adams gets indicted by the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York, and not a single reporter has asked anybody in law enforcement if the two are connected. They did a whole press conference. Not one reporter asked if those 2 cases are connected, even though Sean P. Diddy Combs is being accused of some heinous shit, but also being accused of having connections in high places. What's Mayor Adams being accused of? Corruption. Who is Mayor Adams the mayor of? New York. Where is Diddy's home base? New York. No one asked this question? Nobody? No one. No one. That's like when you got different departments of the police station. It's kind of like on that episode in The Wire. I can't remember which episode it was, but there was an episode where You had this one guy that's being investigated by the drug unit, but he's also a homicide. What the fuck is the word for it? How am I blanking out on that word? Suspect. He's also a homicide suspect. And they, the one department is saying to the other department, wait a minute. You didn't think to tell us that the guy that we're investigating for drug activity is a suspect in a murder case? You didn't think to tell us that shit? But I know this is not one of those cases. There is no way on God's green earth that the U.S. Attorney for the Southern District of New York is not making connections between Diddy and Mayor Adams. There's no fucking way. He literally stood up on a stage and handed this man the key to the city. But I tell you one thing, Cat Williams was right. This is the year of exposure. Now, he didn't say it was the year of justice. He said it was the year of exposure. So who knows? A lot may not be brought to justice, but I guess the silver lining in the cloud is that we now know we now have confirmation that pretty much everybody's full of shit. We now have confirmation of that. For whatever that's worth. But just watch. I want you to just sit back and pay attention to how many people claim they have their hands on this evidence, to how many people claim that, oh yeah, some people have come forward and said this and said that. I want you to pay attention to how much they talk about it while only mentioning P. Diddy's name. Watch how much they talk about it without implicating anybody else. Because we're supposed to believe that out of the thousands of victims spanning 30 years, it was all perpetrated by the mastermind, Sean Puff Daddy P. Diddy Combs. His ass is smart, but he ain't that damn smart. Hell, let's be for real. He's not even as smart as Russell Simmons. At least Russell Simmons had enough intelligence to sell his businesses, pack up and bounce. And don't get it twisted. He's not gonna Russell. Y'all think Russell rode off into the sunset? He's not gonna be gone for long. They're gonna figure out a way. What did the Joker say? In spite of what the TV's plan is, Batman has no jurisdiction. You know, he'll find him and he'll make him squeal. I know the squealers when I see them, and yeah. Federal government has no jurisdiction. When they want to come get your ass, they're going to come and get you. I don't care if you're in Bali or whatever fucking remote island that you think you're going to escape. Fuck out of here. Lucky said they're all fun boys. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that. They are most certainly a bunch of fun boys. I'm starting to feel like the whole industry is. Shout out to Jay Andrew, said the crazy part is the truth will be revealed from their own circles, just like kids in a classroom. The ones who get scapegoated for the rest will get to squealing. You see, the thing about these industry types, when they arrested P. Diddy, the diddler, it was all part of the plan. However, the diddler and all of these lawyers revealing what was on those tapes and exposing those in power, see, that's not part of the plan. And that is the reason why they're not going to name names. You see, they need time to go through those tapes and see who's who. You see. I'm not cynical. I'm just ahead of the curve. Let's trust and believe. There are some people. There are some people that I guarantee you are linked into all of that shouldn't be. And we can only speculate. The only problem is, see, I'm going to tell you what the biggest problem is with this situation. See, Diddy was a flashy fuck. And I would argue that you probably wouldn't have to look too far to figure out who was linked in with him, because he took pictures with so many people. Put his arm around so many people. That's the scary part. That is the scary part. Trying to weed through who was just around him. And look, I'm not even gonna tell you no lie. If I had ever been at any event, right, and Diddy was there, like I've told my freaking wife, like I wouldn't even want. You know what? Here's the funny thing. This is what's so funny about this. Now that I know what I know, because I read, the book that Chris Todd put out. What's the title of the book? Kim's Lost Words. I read the whole book. And I am more prone to believe that that book was extracted from her notes. And the only reason why is because I've heard so many rumors, but the things in that book kind of connect the dots that makes the rumors. You know how you hear a rumor and you're like, I don't know if that's true. That sounds a little far-fetched. The stuff that's said in that book, it kind of ties it all together, which is why I'm more prone to believe that the book is real. Now, with that being said, and that's just my belief, but with that being said, there was a time where I wanted to meet certain people in the industry. I don't want to meet them now. I don't. If I'm somewhere and I see somebody that's in the industry, that is high up in the industry, I'm going to turn around and walk the other fucking direction. I don't want no parts I don't want no parts of none of that shit. None of it. None of it. I don't want to meet him. Like somebody like a Diddy. I told my wife one day, I said, I wouldn't want to be in the same room with that nigga. And I've been calling him the devil for years. Any of you that, you know, you go over the Izzy Band show, ask Izzy Bands about that shit. I've been saying that about Diddy since the 90s. Since the early 2000s. I've been saying, you know, he the devil, right? He'll tell you. He's known me for 30 years. He'll tell you. I've been calling him the devil. And I tell you something else too. I might not sit up here and have a conversation about it, but he's not the only devil. He's not the only devil. And you know what I'm starting to realize? 50 said in the song, he said, you know, he said, the good die young. You know what I'm starting to realize? Or at least this is my theory. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. Whenever you see a person that's super talented explode onto the scene, I'm talking about when they come into entertainment, whether it be movies, television, or music, right? And you say, wow, they're really talented. And then they just fade away, never to be seen again. We be thinking that they made some kind of mistake. We be thinking that they fell off because they wasn't on their game. What if they left because they didn't want to be a part of that bullshit? What if they left because when they were propositioned, they snapped the fuck out? Because what I think is the people that come into the game and they got mad talent and then all of a sudden you just don't see them no more, I think they left the game because they didn't want to be part of it. They didn't want to go to that next level. Or they stayed in the game and tried to go to the next level without being a part of it, and boom, something mysteriously happens to them. Is it possible the only people that stay and remain in the game are the ones that's complicit? Is that possible? Is it possible? And it's crazy because the things we think about certain people, it's actually the opposite. Like lately, people was trying to put out there, you know, they go back and they get that old interview of Tupac when he was real young and he had the high top and he was talking. It's like, yo, Tupac looked effeminate right there. And Tupac this, Tupac that. I don't think Tupac was effeminate at all. And that's probably what the problem was. I don't think he was effeminate at all. In fact, I believe two things about Tupac. I believe that one, Tupac was as straight as they come. And two, Tupac didn't like to see women mistreated. And I think those two things were problematic for the entertainment industry. Tall said, remember that Ali Vegas interview where he was talking about the ritual that was, yeah, I remember. I remember. I remember. Trust and believe, I remember. But if you remember in that one song, what did Tupac say? Now what he said in that song really makes sense. That song on Machiavelli. Remember Tupac, remember the Machiavelli album Against All Odds, right? Watch this. He said 21 gun salute, dressed in fatigues, black jeans and boots. I disappeared into the crowd. All you seen was truth. This little nigga named Nas think he live like me, talking about he left the hospital, took 5 like me. You live in fantasies, nigga. I reject your deposit. We shook Dre punk ass. Now he out of the closet. Next time grown folks talking, nigga, close your mouth. Peep me. I take this war shit deeply. Done seen too many real players ball to let these bitch niggas beat me. Puffy, let's be honest. You a punk, or you would see me with gloves. Remember that shit in the vibe you said about me being a thug? And you can tell the people you roll with whatever you want, but you and I know what's going on. Payback. I knew you bitch niggas from way back. Witness me strapped with Max. No, I wouldn't play that. What is he talking about? He said, you can tell the people you roll with whatever you want, but you and I know what's going on. I always wondered what the hell. Hit refresh, guys. Give me 1 second. He said, payback. I knew you bitch niggas from way back. Witness me strapped with Max. No, I wouldn't play that. All you old rappers trying to advance, it's all over now. Take it like a man. Niggas looking like Larry Holmes, flabby and sick. Try to play a hate on my shit. Let it be known, this how you made me. Loving how I got you niggas crazy. Against all odds. Heard he was light-skinned, stocky, with a Haitian accent. Jewelry, fast cars, and he's known for flashing. Listen while I take you back and lace this rap, a real live tale about a snitch named Haitian Jack. Knew he was working for the feds, same crime, different trials, nigga. Picture what he said, and did I mention? Promised to pay back. Jimmy Henchman in due time. I know you bitch niggas is listening. The world is mine. Set me up, wet me up, niggas stuck me up. Heard the gun bust, but you tricks never shut me up. Touch one of mine. On everything I own, I'll destroy everything you touch. Play the game, nigga. All out warfare, eye for eye. Last words to a bitch nigga, why you lie? Now you gotta watch your back. Now watch your front. Here we come. Gunshots. Now you stuck. Fuck the rap game, nigga. This MOB. So believe me, we enemies against all odds. Puffy getting robbed like a bitch to hide the fact he did some shit he shouldn't have did. So we riding for that. And that nigga that was down for me rested dead. Switch sides, guess his new friends wanted him dead. Probably be murdered for the shit that I said. I bring the real, be a legend, breathing a dead. Lord, listen to me. God don't like ugly. It was written. Hey, yo, Nas, your whole damn style was bitten. You heard my melody, read about my life in the papers, on my run-ins with authorities, felonious capers. Now you want to live my life. Go back and listen to that song. It'll hit different now. Go back and listen to that song. It'll hit different now. Because look, I'm going to tell you the truth. Tupac may not be here, but he got the last laugh. He got the last laugh. He got the last laugh because the niggas that did what they did, they shit is crumbling. He said, let the real live niggas hear the truth from me. What would you do if you was me? Nigga, against all odds. Nigga said, be the realest shit I ever wrote against all odds. Been in the studio getting blowed to the truest shit I ever spoke. 21 gun salute. He knew he was gonna die. He knew what he was up against. Now just let that sink in for a second. He knew what he was up against, but he still said the shit. He knew what he was up against, but he still said the shit. Look, a lot of people love to, like, I was on a panel one time and I was saying something about Tupac, and niggas like, man, you niggas look up to rappers and shit. Let me tell you something about Tupac Amaru Shakur, okay? When this nigga was 5 years old, the teacher asked him what he wanted to be when he grew up. You know how in class people, you know, the teachers ask you what you want to be when you grow up. You know, kids are going to be like, I want to be a doctor. I want to be president. This nigga said he wanted to be a revolutionary at 5 years old. This is the dude that is the child of a Black Panther who was in prison fighting for her freedom while she was pregnant with him. She later on won that case defending herself. Didn't even have a lawyer. She defended herself and won that case. It was a murder case, too. This is a dude that saw 2 off-duty cops beating somebody up, beating a brother up. He jumps out, pow, pow, pow. Guns blazing. Pac was different. And anybody that want to talk crazy about him, like, I don't even want to hear that shit. Pac was different. People try to say, oh, he starred in the movie Juice, and then he tried to be the character Bishop. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He was just determined he wasn't going to allow people to treat him any kind of way and do any kind of thing to him. That's all the fuck that was. Shout out to LL Music TV, said there's an interview with Tupac, says when he looks in the mirror, he can see his soul is there. He didn't say, of course. Of course. He said he can always look in the mirror and find his soul. Shout out to Tall. He said, now I got to go back and reread The Rose That Grew from the Concrete, the Tupac book. Yeah. Guess where I read that book? In jail. That's why I read that book. It's like, Angryman, how'd you get a book in jail? You can't get books in jail. Well, here's the thing about it. When they put you in a holding cell, right? And you gotta spend some days in jail or whatever, right? A lot of times they have dudes that are coming home from prison, right? And they processing them out and shit, right? So when a dude in prison gets processed out, they don't just release them from prison. A lot of times what they do is they transport them back to their hometown and they bring them to the local jail, and then they be in the holding cell until they get processed out. And a lot of times they have some of their stuff with them, like they'll let them have a book or something like that. So there was one OG that was processing out. He actually had the damn book and shit. And I'm in there for a few days for some bullshit or whatever. And, you know, I'm in there trying to sleep the time off. And he's like, yo, young blood, you trying to sleep? You can't do that, man. Here, read this book. I read the damn book while I was in there. Shout out to Detroit 313. He said, according to Michael Jai White, he just acting in real life. First of all, you can't trust the word of Michael Jai White when it comes to Tupac. You want to know why? You want to know why? You want to know why? Press 1 if you want to know why. By the way, we need 10 people to hit the Cash App and support the show. Bishop J. Jermaine said, we know why. Type it in the chat, bro. I'm going to put it on the screen. Type it in the chat. I want to see if we think about the same thing. Type it in the chat. Type it in the chat. Bam Bam said they talk about me after I'm gone because they fear me in the physical form. Yeah, he mad at Tupac. There it go. Right there. There it go right there. There it go right there. Let me tell you something. In the 90s, there was no rapper that the women love more than that nigga Tupac. Real shit, bruh. There was no rapper that the women loved more than that nigga Tupac. Let me tell you something. Tupac had haters just off of the strength of that. Just that alone. You feel me? Just that alone. Pac was that dude. Pac was that dude. And look, you know what people like to do? People like to give Lil Wayne credit for the industry getting tatted and stuff. No. No. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Tupac gets credit for that. I said that one time and niggas try to come at me crazy. Talking about, man, dudes been getting tattoos. Nah, not in the industry. You did not see dudes in the industry running around with their shirt off, displaying all of their tats before Pac. You didn't see that. You didn't see that. You didn't see that. You didn't see that. Straight up. Like, to this day, the freaking the shirt off with the tats, with the bald head, with the bandana tied around it, that's all Pac. That's all Pac. Inside my mind, couldn't find a place to rest until I got that thug life tatted across my chest. Nigga, can you feel me? Take me away from all the pressure and all the pain. Now, look, I will say this. I don't think DMX was trying to emulate Pac, but Ja Rule definitely was. Ja Rule was definitely trying to be Pac. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. Go back and look at Can I Get a What? Go back and look at that video. That nigga's trying his best to be Tupac. Trying his best to be Tupac. There was only one Tupac. There was only one Tupac. Yeah, and there was only one DMX. There's certain dudes that's only a one of one. And then you got other dudes that are like, they're carbon copies of something that came before him. Like Ja Rule, even though he back then, you know, he had hits and all of that stuff, but Ja Rule was a carbon copy of Tupac. The cross on his back, the freaking, like, the way, like, everything about him, the bandana on his head, like, all of that shit. All of that shit. Niggas was trying their best to be Pac. Biggie was a one of one. There was nobody like Biggie. There was niggas trying to be like Biggie. There was a bunch of dudes trying to be like Biggie. Biggie, like, the thing about it, you know, and everybody loves to have their little back and forths about who was better, Biggie or Pac or whatever. Biggie and Pac were contemporaries. They you got to realize that these were two dudes that was friends with each other. That was cool with each other. You know what I'm saying? And they really didn't bite off of each other except for one thing. Except for one thing. Biggie got, when Biggie say, baby, baby, he got that shit from Tupac. He got that shit from Tupac. But from what I understand, Pac wasn't mad about it. You know what I'm saying? Like he wasn't mad about it and shit. I personally believe that without P. Diddy, Tupac and Biggie never beef with each other. Without the instigation of P. Diddy, Tupac and Biggie would have never went at each other. Would have never went at each other. Smash Cash said, nah, Biggie copied Notorious B1. Man, shut the hell up. Don't come in here with them damn goofy ass conspiracy theories. These niggas love, y'all niggas, y'all internet niggas, y'all internet cliff note niggas kill me with that bullshit. It's just like that shit y'all do with Drake. Like, nigga, a motherfucker cannot take one song from a person and then make a whole career out of it. Where did Biggie get the rest of his lyrics from? Because niggas be like, oh, Notorious B1. Where the fuck is Notorious B1? Like, that shit right there, you know what that shit is like doing? You know what that shit is like doing? It's like this. Watch this. Matter of fact, y'all don't gotta hide him. Y'all ain't gotta hide him. He good. You don't gotta hide him because we can hash this shit out. We can hash this shit out. So, when R. Kelly first came out, who was R. Kelly sounding like? And yo, hit the Cash App and support the show, man. When R. Kelly first came out, who was he sounding like? Aaron Hall. Cool. All right, now, let me ask you this, Smash Crash. Who's more talented, Aaron Hall or R. Kelly? Exactly. That's why you can't make that argument. You cannot make that argument. You can't make it. You can't make it. Just because someone mimics another person's style does not mean that the person they mimicked is more talented than them. He did what worked. At the time, everybody was feeling that type of singing. So guess what? R. Kelly sung that way. Did he continue singing that way? No. No, he didn't. And this is why I don't like the argument about Drake. Y'all can hate Drake as much as you want to hate Drake, but you cannot say he's not talented. You can't say that. I don't care whose style he mimics. You can't say he's not talented. You can't do it. You can't do it. Being able to mimic someone's style successfully and gain more success from it than the person who originated it, that is a talent. I hate to tell you, but that's a talent. That's a talent. That is a talent. and you could say whatever you want to say about Biggie. Biggie had bars. I don't care what nobody say. And that notorious B1, whatever that nigga's name is, if that nigga had bars like Biggie, it wouldn't have took this long for you to hear about that nigga. Shout out to Claymore. JC the Conqueror said Drake is this generation's Jay-Z. No, he's not. No, he's not. Drake is this generation's Drake. Period. Point blank, period. That's like, look, let me tell you something. There's certain rappers you cannot compare to anything that came before them. Okay? There is no Future before Future. There's nothing, you haven't seen nothing like Future before Future. Now, you've seen plenty that sound like him after, but you ain't seen no Future before Future. You haven't seen a Kendrick Lamar before Kendrick Lamar. And you haven't seen a Drake before Drake. I don't care what you say. You haven't. You just haven't. You just haven't. I'm telling you right now. Now, I hate to have to tell you this, but you've seen a Jay-Z before Jay-Z. His name is Big L. You've seen a Nas before Nas. His name is Rakim. Or Slick Rick. You haven't seen a DMX before DMX. You haven't seen a Big Pun before Big Pun. You haven't seen a Cannabis before Cannabis. You haven't seen an Eminem before Eminem. Just telling you the truth. You haven't seen a Buster before Buster. You haven't seen an Old Dirty Bastard before Old Dirty. Now, you God tried to say that Dirty was like Biz Markie. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. There wasn't a Method Man before Method Man. There definitely wasn't a Raekwon or Ghostface before. There definitely wasn't an Inspector Deck. Inspector Deck has one of the greatest rap verses ever created in rap history, and he doesn't get credit for it. I bomb atomically. Socrates' philosophies can't describe how I be dropping these mockeries. Lyrically performed armed robbery. Possibly they spotted me. Like, there's no rap verse better than that verse. I don't care what nobody says. I don't care how much you want to argue this shit. There is no rap verse better structurally than that rap verse. I'm sorry. It's just not. Deck is one of the most underrated Wu-Tang members ever. One of the most underrated. His verse in Cream is legendary. Leave it up to me while I be living proof to kick the truth to the young black youth. But shorty's running wild, smoking sesh, drinking beer, and ain't trying to hear what I'm kicking in his ear. That verse is legendary. Legendary. Inspector Deck does not get the credit he deserves, bruh. Like real shit. And it's really messed up that RZA didn't put the time, energy, and effort into Deck's solo piece the way he should have. Like he really should have. You feel what I'm saying? But Deck, he has hands down the greatest rap verse in rap history. Period. Point blank, period. Shit, the lingo that the Wu-Tang was putting in their verses, that shit should be studied. That shit should be the shit that Raekwon and Ghostface was saying. That shit needs to be studied, bro. Now, for me personally, Method Man's greatest verse, in my personal opinion, is Shadowboxing. That nigga says, I break it down to the bone gristle. Ill-speaking scud missile, heat-seeking, Johnny blazing, nightmares like Wes Craven, niggas gunning. My third eye seen it coming before it happened. You know about them fucking statin kids, they smashing everything, in any shape, form, or fashion that everybody talking about they blasting. Is you busting, still is you flashing. Talking out your asshole, you should have learned about the flow in Peasy Afro. Tacalian stallion, chinky eye, snot nose. From my naps to the bunion on my big toe, I keeps it moving. Know just what the fuck I'm doing. Rap insomniac, fiend to catch a nigga snoozing. Slip to cardiac, arrest me. Exorcist hip hop possess me. Crunching niggas like a Nestle. You know my steez, burning to a third degree. Sneaky ass, alley cat, top pedigree, the head toucher, industry party bum rusher. If you don't like a dick up in your fuck you. Oh my God, what? What? Legendary. The shit is mastered, the plot thickens. This be that woo shit. I don't give a cotton picking fuck about a nigga trying to size a nigga up. I hold my own. Hard habit to the dome. Look at mama baby boy acting like he grown. No time for sleep, I get deep as a baritone. Killer bee that be holding down his honeycomb. Lounging, son. Woo brother #1. Flying guillotines, here they come. Like, oh my God. Legendary. Legendary. Niggas don't, look, I hate to get into the niggas don't rap like that no more, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It is what it is. That's another one. Reggie's another one. There was no Red Man before Red Man. There will never be another Red Man. That nigga is a one of one. I challenge anybody to mimic his flow. You can't do it. You can't do it. You can't do it. Try to mimic Red Man's flow. You can't do it. You can't do it. Just try it. You can't do it. There's a reason why Eminem put him on his top 5. There's a reason. And then when you start, you talking about OG, you talking about what you say, OC? Look, let me tell you something. When you start talking about, let's bring up Boot Camp Click right now. Rock Ness Monster. Nobody had a voice like that nigga. Nobody. And he be on YouTube doing live streams and shit too. I be seeing him on YouTube. He got a YouTube channel. But Rock Ness Monster, nobody had a voice like that nigga. Nobody had a voice like that nigga. Nobody had a voice like that nigga. And nobody could spit like Sean Price. I don't give a fuck. That nigga Sean P. I'm telling you, it's not the, and see, you start to realize why certain people didn't get the shine they deserved. It's because they wasn't part of that goofy shit. It's certain niggas that wasn't part of that goofy shit. That's why you'll see niggas put out one album, the shit be fire. You don't hear nothing else from them no more. And if they do put out something that don't get promoted, it's not being pushed like that, it's because they wasn't part of that goofy shit, bruh. It's because they wasn't part of that goofy shit. They're like, nah, I'm not part of that shit. Because look, I'm going to tell you the truth. There's niggas back in the day, I remember hearing niggas say this shit. Niggas say, I don't fuck with Diddy. Like real shit, there was niggas back in the day that did not rock with him at all. You would have never seen them at no Diddy party. Ever. Ever. And let me tell you this. Diddy knew who to mess with. He knew who to mess with. He knew he knew it was certain niggas from them New York streets he didn't mess with. He didn't play with. Nori said it went straight and haven't went platinum since. Mr. Lone Star said Redman greatest verse to me was on that 8-Ball song Coffee Shop. Word. But yeah, man. But with that being said, y'all know if I start talking about hip hop, we'll be here all night, man. But yo, to everybody in the building, man, I appreciate you guys for tuning into the show. As always, you feel what I'm saying? Make sure you guys go check out my book, The Angryman Standard, which is available on Amazon. All you have to do is type The Angryman Standard in the search bar and it will come up. It's available in paperback and hardcover. Shout out to everybody that contributed to the show. Shout out to all of the sponsors. I really appreciate you guys. Salute to everybody that hit the like button, everybody that shared the content, everybody that became members. I really appreciate you guys. Y'all already know what it is. Make sure you follow me. Yo, I be posting a lot of stuff on X. So make sure you guys go follow me on X at Angryman Channel. You feel me? Some of the videos that I take down, if you want to check the videos out in their entirety with no cuts, no edits, you got to go check me out over on Rumble at The Angryman. You feel me? But yo, Other than that, man, salute to everybody. I will be back at you guys tomorrow. Y'all already know what it is. We probably gonna cover some more of this election foolery. So, you know, you might get the street conservative tomorrow. It just depends on what hits in the news cycle. But other than that, man, I'm gonna holler at you guys later. Deuces.
Spartans! What is your profession?